Number 5, a special number. Jonathan's Matri doll. Ooh. This was an especially interesting doll to make because pull the camera away and just look casually. Doesn't that kind of look like Jonathan? But
I sure think it does.
What did you say?
I sure think it does.
Yeah, so somebody who looks at him or herself in the mirror every day thinks something looks like themselves. Boom!
Boom!
So let me tell you a few things. In the very beginning, on March 15th, when I was making my first batch of dolls, they were all spread out all over the ground, not glued together, and I would move the pieces around. And Jonathan, just a few days before this, before March 15th, Jonathan went to the queer astrology conference, and he or she posted on Facebook something about, I want to mix it up with the pronouns. And I hadn't seen Jonathan since then, or even really much talk on the phone. So I was myself a little confused. But one thing I 100% agree with is that nobody is just one thing. And that was one of the things Jonathan said in the Facebook post was that they was his or her or their favorite pronoun, partly because gender isn't binary and partly because Jonathan is made up of so many different characters. Look right here. For example, these 5 clowns.
Yep, I know those guys.
And all these eyeballs. Mother Mary comforts me.
A
little bit of some patriotism in there. Obviously, a little girl that's blue swinging, and here's my bunny spell. So the way I made, Jonathan was the first doll that I made. I've since realized this is a really important tactic to take with Matri dolls, is to mix up the gender. In the beginning I was doing girls get girl dolls, boys get boy dolls. But with Jonathan I was like, well, let's just piece together some pieces. So here's a lady wearing a blue dress. And this is a different, more business-like lady wearing her business pants. And this is a lampshade. This is a Chinese man. And these are sunglasses that I added. And when those things are all together and you throw a string of pearls and a guitar on, it looks apparently exactly like Jonathan.
I also love that the guitar happens to be ukulele size, because this
yeah.
was right around when I was
When you were
transitioning
switching
from
over.
guitar to ukulele. Yeah.
Jonathan also has the sign for genius right here. Magical genius. So I also thought, well, here's sort of, I was an upside down priestess, and I was wondering where Jonathan fit into that, and he's kind of my partner in the family business, and we're upside down. So this was sort of us. But then he was texting me while I was making this, and lots of stuff I didn't understand. Meanwhile, I was texting him lots of stuff he didn't understand. We were both going through a lot. And we were like, well, when we see each other, we'll be able to explain our crazy experiences that we're having. It turned out, right when I was making this, he was having very upside-down experiences with tarot cards and girls.
Kings and queens.
Kings and queens in Portland. What I meant when I did King Kissed by a Queen was like, maybe that's Jonathan's gender, but I think it has a lot more meaning than that. There's a lot of spells that still need to be added, but in a way, Jonathan already has spells inside that you can't see, but we should have follow-up. Someday maybe we'll have follow-ups. I really like this music thing made out of a cord, and I cut out this little note. I was looking for a really pretty note, and then I was like, hey, I'm allowed to just make my own. I feel like this bluebird, Jonathan's emoji is the bluebird, and I think that is that means things that I might not all the way know. There's a lot of spells in the rainbows down here too. Oh, also beetles. Back when I made this, I put beetle spells on like Jonathan and Wade and Aaron, special people who I feel like understand the earth better than I do. And I was only just thinking of beetles as being like the bottom of the creatures that actually have a lot of wisdom. But then if you fast forward like a month or 2 months or whatever after this, when I made my first Matri poster, which has not been released as of this filming, the first Matri poster is for the group called the Beatles, which my sister suggested teach. And I didn't even really think about the Beatles. Speaking of, take a picture of her.
Ooh, spider.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh. It's...
I wonder if she's super poisonous. That's just like the spider on Nicole's doll.
Oh my gosh.
Nicole, hello! Anyway, also here, this is sort of me and sort of our magic, and it's also a children's picture from the Queen Village magazine. Also, this is a really good example of how there are spells on the back that I don't even try to do, like how Jonathan is a wave surfer magician.
Life wave surf magician?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, like a surfer.
A little bit. Surfed one wave.
And also, Philly's foremost master builder. I really like it. All right,
Working
so his, her, their, Jonathan. Oh, which we really like spelling it like Jawn, the Philly word for, you know, bang.
Johnny Lie.
Johnny Lie.
This spider's really in on the game.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!